podcast can be heard on 9
Such a
major
pretty girl.
on the second
Left town, got a chance in LA. Now you a city girl. Now you wanna party, it's late. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You said that I was. You had me love struck. That city life will no place like home. No place like home. No place like home. 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 No place like. Had a lover boy. Now you're on the other side of the tracks with another boy, chasing that greener grass. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You stay over, never over. One more drinking till you're sober. You said that I was.
You are listening to Information Man podcast.
That city life will no place like home. All right, everybody. No place like home.
Peace, everybody. This is the Information Man Speaks podcast. I'm on. I have my man Lions Den on with me tonight. I'm going to bring him on the screen in just a moment. We're going to talk about what's happening across the country. As you already know, we have a serious situation across the country with very dangerous weather. I mean, they're getting hit hard in Houston, Dallas, Oklahoma. I think they said there's some issues going on in North Carolina, all over the Midwest and down in the southern area of the country. And, to the politicians out there and to the naysayers out there, climate change is real. I believe that this is a byproduct. As you can see, I got snow coming into my place. This is a byproduct, I believe, of the fact that our environment is in really dire danger. When you've got winters getting colder, you've got people that are talking about they're down to 16, Celsius, 6 Celsius. I mean, the temperatures are dropping down. My man Lions Den that I'm going to bring on in a moment, he's very concerned because he's got family out there in the Texas area. He's been trying to get in contact with them. You've got all sort of things that are happening in terms of blackouts and all this stuff that's happening out here, out in the Texas area, in the Midwest area, in the southern areas of the country. And these winter storms are not playing any games. So let me do this. I'm going to play a video that I want you all to see before we bring Lions Den on and have this discussion. So what I want to do is I want to come over here and get this thing going here real quick. Excuse me, glasses there. And put my man on there who going like this and can't believe what's happening out there in wintertime. Let me say peace to everybody that may be listening to me on the Information Man Speaks podcast on Facebook, those that are listening and Twitter and about all of you good folks out there. I really appreciate you supporting the program. And I gotta play this clip because this is a very important clip that adds to what we're talking about tonight as far as these winter storms and how difficult they are. I'm going to bring Lions Den on in just a moment, but I need everybody to definitely pay attention to this clip right here.
We are seeing record low temperatures and dangerous weather. At least 3 people.
And here we go. A little bit of a boo-boo there. And there
record low temperatures and dangerous weather. At least 3 people are dead after a tornado ripped through a seaside town in North Carolina Monday night. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, temperatures reached a low of -14 Tuesday morning. That is the coldest temperature recorded there since 1899. And in Texas, the extreme cold is coupled with power outages. More than 3.5 million homes and businesses are in the dark. National Guard troops and thousands of state troopers have been checking in with families. Omar Villafranca begins our coverage in Dallas.
Tonight, the South is frozen solid. States struggling to recover from punishing sub-zero temperatures with more wicked weather on the way. The extreme conditions blamed for at least 15 deaths. Medical examiners in Galveston requesting a refrigerated truck after reports of several cold weather-related deaths. Texas's governor calling the storm the winter version of Hurricane Harvey. Over 3 million Texans are still without power because the state's grid can't keep up with the demand, and millions more are subject to rolling blackouts, some as long as 30 hours. Residents using blow dryers and heaters to thaw their frozen pipes.
No water.
The situation is so bad, Tara Davis is leaving the state after she, her husband, and her 8-month-old baby had to huddle around the fireplace to stay warm. They went without power for 30 hours.
It was -2 degrees last night. We had our daughter wrapped up in as many pieces of clothing as we possibly could, but we were really scared.
42, 44, 46,
In Houston, more than 50
48.
cars lined up in search of a warm meal outside a Burger King. Dylan Fluster took his 15-month-old and a 3-year-old to a warming station in Plano.
When we woke up this morning and it was still no power, it was like, can't keep doing this.
Texas is the only state in the continental U.S. that has its own power grid. It's not regulated by the federal government, and tonight, people are angry that it's failed.
I understand people are very angry that this has happened, and I'd say let us get the power back on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me flip back over here. And that's what's happening right now. And someone, I think Johnson, has come into the chat room and says Michigan. That's right. I failed to say that. Michigan is getting it real bad. And I mean real bad. So I'm going to bring in Brother Lyons Den because he's got family out there in Texas in particular. He's been trying to get in contact with. You see in Texas, Texas is one of those states that don't believe in regulations. They believe in privatizing everything. And you got a private operated power system out there, and their grid went belly up, and people are complaining about it. See, it's funny how people say, oh, we don't want the government being, but when you have the government sort of managing these things, then the government you have a better chance of the government possibly coming in. We saw what happened in Katrina. That was a disaster, but you're kind of almost left on your own to hope that these independent power companies will do the right thing. And people are very upset. You saw in that video, the young lady just had a baby. They're huddling up, very cold out there where they are, and they're going to have to leave the state. This is really bad. Now, I'm in California. I can't complain because the most we've got out here right now is rain here and there. But this is serious, and I believe this is because of the one thing that people do not want to come to grips with, and that is the reality of climate change. And this is the Information Man Speaks podcast.
You are listening to Information Man podcast.
All right, let's bring my man in, Lyons Den, see what he's got to say about this. So let me pop him in here on the screen here.
We are seeing
Brother Lyons Den, thank you for being here, my brother.
At least 3 people are dead after a tornado ripped
Let me
through
take this
a
off of
seaside
here.
town in North Carolina Monday night. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, temperatures reached a low of -14 Tuesday morning. That is the coldest temperature recorded there since 1899. And in Texas, the extreme cold is coupled with power outages. More than 3.5 million homes and businesses are in the dark. National Guard troops and thousands of state troopers have been checking in with families. Omar Villafranca begins our coverage in Dallas.
Tonight, the South is frozen solid. States struggling to recover from punishing sub-zero temperatures with more wicked weather on the way. The extreme conditions blamed for at least 15 deaths. Medical examiners in Galveston requesting a refrigerated truck after reports of several cold weather-related deaths. Texas's governor calling the storm the winter version of Hurricane Harvey. Over 3 million Texans are still without power because the state's grid can't keep up with the demand, and millions more are subject to rolling blackouts, some as long as 30 hours. Residents using blow dryers and heaters to thaw their frozen pipes.
No water.
The situation is so bad, Tara Davis is leaving the state after she, her husband, and her 8-month-old baby had to huddle around the fireplace to stay warm. They went without power for 30 hours.
It was -2 degrees last night. We had our daughter wrapped up in as many pieces of clothing as we possibly could, but we were really scared.
42, 44, 46.
In Houston, more than 50 cars lined up in search of a warm meal outside of Burger King.
All right, Lions, then I'm
Dylan
gonna.
Fluster took his 15-month-old and
I'm
a
having a
3-year-old
hard
to a
time
warming
stopping that
station
right
in
now.
Plano.
When we woke up this morning and it was still no power, it was like, can't keep doing this.
All right, Lions. Then I don't know. I think it's a boo-boo of the system. Let me bring you in now, and hopefully that won't pop back on the screen because I've already deleted it out. So I don't know why that came back on there like that. They're gonna have to figure this one out
low
here.
temperatures and
All right, see, there it is
weather.
again.
At least 3 people
I
are dead
swear.
after a tornado ripped through a seaside town in North Carolina Monday night. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, temperatures reached a low of -14 Tuesday morning. That is the coldest temperature recorded there.
All right, Lions, then I'm having problems. That thing, it keeps coming up, and I actually deleted it. Oh, man, this thing should be out of here. Let me see here. Let me see if I can fix this. I've already deleted it out of the gear, so I don't know why it keeps bouncing back in. That's going to be a problem. All right, Lions, then, can you, let me unmute you. Lions, then, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, go ahead. Let's just talk because I think I'm trying to bring you on, but the audio from the clip I played, I even deleted this clip, and it still keeps bouncing in. That's a problem. That's a problem with this system. Haps is going to have to fix that. That's been deleted. Even out of my own computer, I deleted it. Plus, I went into the gear, as Brother Tad Hicks was telling me, and I got rid of it. And then when I try to put you on the screen, it comes back in. Now, I do have another clip, but that clip that I have has to do with Benny Thompson. Haven't even fired that up. So let me see if I can bring you in and see if this thing is gone now, which I hope it is. Let me try to bring you on the screen. And let me see if this is gonna work.
We are seeing record low temperatures and dangerous
See, there we go
weather.
again.
At least 3 people are dead after a tornado.
All right, this is ridiculous. They gotta fix this. Okay, Lions, then let's just talk. You're on with me, but you're not on screen. If I try to bring you on screen using the grids here, that it keeps coming in. And I deleted this thing. I don't know why it keeps coming back in. I'm a little not happy about that. So let's go on with this. Let's move forward. Sorry about the some of the technical problems, everybody out there listening. Technical problems and still trying to work through everything on Haps here. Lions, then tell me what's going on with your family. You told me earlier that you've been trying to contact them. What's going on with these storms back there in Texas? We got stuff going on in Michigan, Oklahoma. The videotape that I've showed, the clip, it definitely gave a good display. Unfortunately, I can't get it off when we try to bring you on the screen, but go ahead and speak, brother.
Okay. Well, I try to reach my cousin who lives in Houston, and I just sent him on a Facebook Messenger, and so far I haven't heard from him yet. I don't even know what happened with that.
Right.
I was on of course Clubhouse, and there's some people that I know also in the Houston area. They said that reports that their families, they don't have no power, they don't have no water, they don't have no food. it's really rough. There's also some deaths out there, some bodies out there in Houston because of the record cold temperatures. So info, it is ridiculous. It was really, really crazy. And I also have a cousin that lives in Dallas. I still haven't reached them yet as well. So yeah, it's getting really rough out there in the state of Texas.
Wow. What do you think is, I mean, climate change is something that's been talked about. I brought Ted Hicks is coming upstairs with us right now to try to see if we can figure out why I can't get you on the screen and get rid of the audio clip that I had on here. I don't know why that is happening. And we got to figure it out. So we got him on
low temperatures
here
and
see, there
weather.
it is. It's right there.
At least 3 people are dead after a tornado ripped through a seaside town in North Carolina Monday night. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, temperatures reached a low of -14 Tuesday morning. That is the coldest temperature recorded there since 1899. And in Texas, the extreme cold is coupled with power outages. More than 3.5 million homes and businesses are in the dark. National Guard troops and thousands of state troopers have been checking in with families. Omar Villafranca begins our coverage in Dallas.
Tonight, the South is frozen solid.
Information man, did you make me a director?
Yeah, you're a moderator on the channel.
Okay.
I don't know why it keeps coming back up. I even deleted it out of the system. So I don't know why it keeps bouncing back in. So anytime I try to attempt to bring you all on the screen, it joins us almost as if it's and I don't even have it on the symbols that you click. I don't even have it clicked. I've got one other news clip, but I never loaded that up at all. What's going on, brother Mike? So I don't know. It's maybe just something malfunctioning right now.
Yeah, I think so. Can you do me a favor? Can you switch it to grid?
Okay, grid. Here we go. And then I'm gonna bring you on, and here we go. And myself.
We're seeing record low temperatures and dangerous weather.
Wait a minute,
At least 3 people are dead after a tornado ripped through a seaside town in North Carolina Monday night. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, temperatures reached a low of -14 Tuesday morning.
You might have
the coldest temperature recorded there.
What'd you say, sir?
No, I was gonna say, unfortunately, you might have to. Yeah, I don't want to tell you to flip this to flip the entire session. There's a feature. Hang on a second. But you know what? I think just go with it. Go with it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. Lions Den, as long as we can hear him, he's on the platform. But I'm probably gonna have to report this after this is over. It might be something just malfunctioning, and I've used the clips, that the upload, video upload. I never had this problem, and I actually deleted it, went into the grid and deleted it, which I would thought that would be enough to keep it from not playing anymore. Then I even went into my computer where I have the file saved, and I deleted it. And I would think that would stop it, because once it's not on my system whatsoever. So just a little Twilight Zone situation right now.
Just a little glitch.
Yeah, it's okay. I just kind of would like to have them on the screen. That's the frustrating thing about it. But these things happen. It's in beta mode. They're still improving the system. So
that's it.
I'll go forward. We're not going to be on that long tonight. I just wanted to kind of talk to him about this real quick. What's your thoughts, brother Ted, about this storms and everything that's happening? Do you have any family that's being impacted by this?
I do not, thankfully. And just the whole thing about Texas operating on its own, that's a story within itself.
Right. And there was a report that they were trying to blame this on green energy, saying that, see, this is why green energy isn't a good thing because it can't work. And there's countries around the world that use green energy that have really bad winters. Correct. So there's a lot of finger pointing right now because, Texas is known for not wanting regulations and having their own independent private company. And this was a private company that sort of kind of blew it a little bit here. I mean, I'm saying it lightly, but people out there are pissed off.
I will say this. We went through the last 10, 11 months without a federal plan. And you see what type of mess we ran ourselves into with this pandemic. I'll leave it there.
Right. You're so right. You're so right. And check this out. If you hear the latest information today, they're saying that some of the virus numbers are going down. They're seeing a dip since old Orange Man's been out of office. There's been a dip in some of the policies that Biden's pushing as far as this COVID. See, so I got to be honest about it. His administration is having a more positive effect, although we're not out of this, than the Orange Man did.
Yeah, you got to hit it, head on before that next wave hits.
Right.
Because we know a next wave is coming. And then a wave probably after that. And we're not medical professionals on this panel. But I will decrease. I want to enjoy the show. You and Trey. All right.
I correct one thing you say, sir. I actually am a medical. I'm not a doctor.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Let me correct myself. I'm going to say this. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I am a practitioner. I work in mental health.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But where I work at, I see everything. But
yes.
I'm not a medical MD. That's a big difference. So
it is. It is.
But we'll be on for a little while longer talking about this situation. I appreciate you coming up. Lions Den, are you still there, brother?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and it sounds great. What about Tennessee? If you don't mind me asking, your wife is in Tennessee. What is going on in Tennessee?
Well, the last time I heard, my wife said they had a record number of snows over there. Normally, Tennessee has at least about 3 inches of snow.
Right.
But then it turns out that now in Nashville, she said she was from 5 to 7 inches. That they never had that before, especially in the Nashville area. So,
right.
I've been hearing from Lisa Cabrera. She had a video out about a week ago.
Yes, Lisa.
Had record temperatures hitting most of the country. So I guarantee, probably it's because of that. It's going to be like record lows from 10 below to record lows -9, 8, stuff like that on most of the country. So I believe that's mainly the reason why we have this winter storm like that is because of the record temperatures that we're having.
Do you think, this has been my theory, and I don't want to sound like I have tinfoil on my head, but I've long believed, you see it in movies and stuff like this. I've long believed that humans are going to destroy themselves. We've been taught that it's going to be some foreign country we're going to get in a war with. I have been having these thoughts about this for a long time, that we are going to be our own undoing. You see, even with this virus this past year and going into this year, how we were so, especially in America, we were so derelict. The government was so derelict under Trump in handling this. You're seeing right now in Texas, the infrastructure in this country is abysmal, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we live, quote unquote, in the best country in the world. We have a lot of luxuries that other people do not have, but our infrastructure is old. It's decaying. It's bad. We have bridges falling apart, like what happened in Minnesota some years ago. We don't have a speed train. We have infrastructure that is crumbling. Oh, by the way, we got schools in Philadelphia, was just reported, and I should have made this a separate podcast. We've got schools in Philadelphia that they want to open, and they're saying that the ventilation system in the schools in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania are terrible. The teachers and the parents are saying, yeah, you want us to send kids back to school, but our ventilation systems are poor because the infrastructure of our schools are falling apart. I bring it back to President Obama. President Obama made attempts to try to introduce an infrastructure bill. And it was primarily the Republican. You're going to say, don't point fingers. Well, I'm going to point fingers. It was primarily the Republican Party of this country that did not want to work with President Obama and refused to agree with his infrastructure bill. You had Donald Trump, who was in office for 4 years. I want to know if anybody out there listening in the live streaming sphere, what infrastructure bill besides the wall, what infrastructure bills that Donald Trump initiated in this country besides the freaking wall? Lions Den, get in on this. What is your thoughts? Because your family, you've been trying to get in contact with them. You're having a hard time. Foams are down, lines are down. People have to warm up their pipes because the pipes are freezing where the water can't come in. You've got people with kids like the young lady on that videotape. You got people really catching it. You can, not only is it because we've got a climate change situation going on, but look at the infrastructure of this country. The infrastructure is old and crumbling. What is your thoughts?
Well, I blame the governor, Greg Abbott, out of Texas with all of this because
okay.
I think that really what's happening is that when he agreed, and this is in the state of Texas, they had their own, the government will not allow, they will not allow the federal government to even involve with, the power system there in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was that the governors refused, they accept their own power grid. And when that happens, you have serious problems. And look what's going on in Texas right now. There's no power at all because of the winter storm. So when a governor, Greg Abbott, accept that power grid, got their own power grid, and don't need the federal government to even involve and help out with the power grid, that's an issue. That's a problem.
Wow. Now, Mike is in Dallas. I need to invite him up and get let's get brother Mike up if we can. He's in Dallas, and Dallas was another place that was struggling. So brother Mike, come on upstairs and give us your perspective because you're living in Dallas. If I'm not mistaken, he says my cousin lives there and he has been frozen. He has frozen pipes. Okay, let me get Okay, so I think his cousin lives in Dallas. He says, we cold and icy and snowed upon down here in Nashville. Wait a minute, Lions Den. Brother Mike is in Nashville. Your wife is in Tennessee.
He lives in Antioch, Tennessee, with a suburban part of Nashville, which my wife is living right now.
Well, I'm inviting him upstairs if he wants to say a few words about what he's going through. See, I can't really, I don't want to be braggadocious. I live in California and we don't have these problems. Now, I live about 2 hours away. I can get to Tahoe, to Sierra very quickly from where I'm at. But you hear people in California complaining about rain and all that kind of stuff. But we don't know, when you live in California for a long time, you don't really know what real cold weather is. If you're native California. Now, I've got family in Baltimore, Maryland. I've been in Baltimore doing snow, and it gets nasty out there as well. But I'm feeling people who are really suffering from what's going on right now, because one, people can't get to work. People's pipes, like the brother said, brother Mike said, the pipes are getting frozen. And then, okay, how many people are prepared with generators, right? Generators cost money, right? And so this also will tell you, this does tell you that you do have to, what do they call this? hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst by being prepared. You know, I remember when I was in Baltimore, my uncle, when he was alive, he passed away few years ago. He would always remind my cousins and everything, get your butt under the car and start doing your mechanical work on the car. Because once the winter comes, you ain't going to want to get out there under the snow. See, people who live in California, in the western part of the country, like California, people can't relate to that, right? But in some parts of the world, they're used to fixing their cars and getting things prepared, just like a little chipmunk for, getting things ready for the winter. And so my uncle used to always complain about that. You got to get out there and get that work on your car because the winter's coming. Don't be lazy. Get up under that car, start working on this and that. Start putting it off. When the winter gets here, you're in trouble. So let's see. Brother Mike says this. He says, but I can tell you it was ice falling from the sky, then snow yesterday on top of it, and more ice and snow coming starting tomorrow. And luckily my job was closed for today and it's closed tomorrow. Okay, brother, we want you to be safe. And thank you for the reward, brother Ted Hicks. And thank you for coming up and trying to moderate the situation up here before I have a meltdown. But Lions Den, your wife, have you made contact with her?
Yes, I talked with her this morning, and she's okay. Luckily, she didn't. They closed the schools where she worked at, so
okay.
She's really okay. And here in New Mexico, and there's a lot of people don't know this. In New Mexico, for the last 3 days, we have snow turning to a blizzard. We have a blizzard over here.
What? Wait a minute. Say that again.
Yes, we have a record blizzard, and again, the snow here was, and like I said, it happened in the last 3 days. Matter of fact, we had snow today. So on top of the blizzard that we had 2 days ago. So the roads are clear, everything is fine, the snow is gone. But yeah, we had the last 3 days, we had like snow, and then it turned into blizzard because it was blowing snow everywhere right here in Albuquerque.
Okay. Man, I don't know what to say, Lions Den, because I played that clip, but I'm not, I'm not in it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to sound right. I want to have some reverence for people that are going through this directly. What do you think's going on? Let me tell you something. I'm in California. Let me tell you something, how this weather climate thing is a real. I know it's real. I'm in California, Northern California, and then there's Southern California, which they say it never rains, but it does rain in Southern California. We're in winter time right now in California, where I'm at, right? We have had, I can count on one hand the amount of times that we've had rain. Storms. We had one big storm last year, but we're not even getting as much rain as we should get. It's like our winters are getting warmer. So as the winters are getting colder in the South, in the Midwest, and other places in the East, it's like in the West Coast, the winters are getting warmer. Plants and trees are blooming earlier than they're supposed to. We're not getting a lot of rain in the state of California, which is named after, I don't know how many people know this. California is named after Queen Califia, a black woman who was guarding this region. How many of y'all know about that? That California is really just like Queen Charlotte, which was a black woman connected to the royal family in England. That's how they got the name Charlotte, right? In North Carolina. So Queen Califia, where I live at, we're not getting enough rain in Queen Califia, which we know as California. So it's so every part of the country is experiencing this twilight zone type weather, whether it be too cold or too hot. What do you think's going on? This is crazy.
I think what's going on is, like you said, is climate change, and that the climate change is really real, as you can see, and people try to deny it. Even some politicians try to deny it. Well, there's no such thing as climate change. Guess what? It is. You see a lot of different weather changes for the last few months, and even in wintertime, you feel warmer temperatures. And like again in New Mexico, before this winter storm happens here, you see our wet weather here is like in the 60s, 64 degrees.
Right.
That's way before way before this this storm hits here. So it's kind of weird. Then it turns out it was climate change, but the politicians don't believe in that. They say there's no such thing. But it's evidence that it is happening. It's real, because so many different climate change, some weather changes that we never had before, cold temperatures that we never had before, and it's happening in predominantly here in most states.
Right, and you said that they had a blizzard. Is that right? You're in New Mexico, right? Because you've been telling me ever since you've been down there working in New Mexico that you are freezing. And check this out, folks. New Mexico is considered part of the western part of the country. And New Mexico is like what? Yep. That's like near New Mexico is deep, is south. Right? They say the more south you go, the more close you get to the equator line, the more warm it is. Now, don't get me wrong. When it's summertime in New Mexico, oh my God, you could cook an egg on the ground and eat it and scramble it up and have toast and coffee. But when it's cold, it is cold. Now, why is it so cold like that? Let me ask you something. Because I've never been to New Mexico. Is New Mexico sort of flat? I mean, I notice a lot of southern states are very flat. Right, a lot of Midwest states are flat. Is Tennessee flat where you lived as well?
Well, Tennessee. Let me start out with Tennessee for a moment. Tennessee.
Okay, go ahead.
When I live at in Antioch and Nashville, we got a lot of mountains between the Tennessee. I mean, like Nashville and Antioch, that area. We always have mountains around it. Right. And normally my wife joking to me, and I always teasing her about the snow over there, because like 2 inches of snow alone will shut down the entire city. Just 2 inches of snow. Because remember, I living in the DMV, I've been through blizzards before, record blizzards in the DMV. I've been through all of that. But Nashville, when they had snow, it was only like a flurry, or like I said, 2 or 3 inches, but never 5 and 7 inches. Never. Okay. And then with respect to New Mexico here, in the summertime, we sort of like got Arizona weather, because New Mexico and Arizona are right next door. And see, Arizona is the western part of us, And in the wintertime, we do got colder temperatures. That came from the Colorado side, because Colorado is on the northern part of us. So you see, when you have these different weather changes here, you got in the summertime, it's hot with the Arizona part. And when it's real cold, we got that from the Colorado side. So we got different weather changes, but we have never have a winter storm like this ever. I'm talking about it was cold here, but never like 12, 11, 10 degrees. Never here in New Mexico.
I'm gonna put some statements in the chat room on the screen in a moment. But we got my man, the life of King Wage. Good to see you over here, brother. He says this is such a strange occurrence, but it's sad. It's sad we'll see things we're never seen, and is in biblical prophecy. So King Wage is saying that we're going to see things that we've never seen, and that these are events that have been foretold in the prophecy of the Bible. So those of you that are very religious out there, These are the things that have been foretold, and I'm going to put what he said on the screen. And I got to be honest, I have heard of this. We have heard of people making these predictions of things that are going to happen. Let me put Mike's statement on the screen as well. And let me write what he said as well. Brother Mike says, but I can tell you it was icy. Okay, that's the one statement he said before. And let me just put what Brother Ted Hicks is saying, Lions Den. Lions Den, I'm not going to keep you all night. I know you got a lot on your mind. Then you checked your Facebook and you said that you haven't heard anything from your family still, right?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't heard nothing from my cousin. I'm still waiting for him to respond to my messenger. So far, nothing.
What part of Texas is your cousin in? We got 161 people watching us this late of night. I think that's fantastic that people are still up watching. Thank you, everybody out there that's watching. And we got 93 likes. That's pretty darn good. I appreciate it. We really appreciate it. What part of Texas again? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yeah, I got cousins both in Dallas and in Houston, but the cousin that I was talking to on my messenger, he came from Houston.
Okay. There could be some. I mean, they said on that on the visual clip that I had up that we kept having a little problem trying to get rid of. They said that the power grids of the private companies are completely down.
Right. I heard that. And again, like I said, I blame this on Governor Greg Abbott because he was the one that wants to have his own power grid in the state of Texas and not allow the government even help around with the power grids, to fix the power grids. So, for example, if they have floods and tornadoes or even snowstorms, then the power grid will still remain on. But since Governor Greg Abbott decided, well, I want my own power grid and I don't need no government to help. Look what happened. Look what's going on right now.
See, let me say something. I understand that people don't want government in their life being intrusive into their life, but you have to have a balance of government along with private. It has to work in unison. You can't have all of one thing. And this is let me bring this up. And this is no shade to people who live in Texas, but hey, if it's shade, if you take it that way, I'm telling the truth.
You are listening to Information Man Podcast.
I'm telling the truth right now. Remember some years ago when you had, who was the other wacky, goofy governor of Texas that kept saying that he wanted Texas to exceed from the union, meaning separate themselves from the union.
Oh,
right?
Secede from the union.
Secede from the union. Who was the goofy governor who had the audacity to say that? Because Texas has been trying. I don't think
he's the governor. I don't know.
No. This guy was a governor. Was it Rick Scott? No, not Rick Scott. Rick Scott, right?
It's not Rick Scott. He's from Florida. He's from Florida.
No, not Rick Scott. Somebody in the chat room. There was a governor of Texas who had this wacky idea about exceeding from the union. And there's been people in the state of Texas who have been saying that they want to get Texas out of the union. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that imagine if the state of Texas was to break their charter or whatever we want to call it, break their relationship with being a part of,
Succeed. You mean, like succeeded from the union?
Yes. What if they? Union. Yeah, I'm trying to simplify it here. If they secede from the union, they decide they want to be independent to themselves. This is what's goofy about that. If people would have really pushed for that to happen, is that once you do that and something happens to your state, you're no longer a state, you're a country, you're on your own, baby. So think about it. Mm-hmm. Texas has all this private industry, right? Here they got a private power company. Mm-hmm. The private power company is in bad shape right now. People can't get their power on. People are upset because because they're upset with their private company. Imagine if Texas was to exceed from the state of this from the country, and they had this winter storm. Guess what? The United States of America would not be technically obligated to step in and help them. They would end up crawling back to the government. The very thing that they don't like in Texas is government intrusion. They would have to go back. They would have to crawl themselves to Washington, D.C. and say, please, please help us. Our independent power companies are not working. We're separated from the states, but we're in dire strait. You can't let the people of Texas suffer like this, United States of America. You see, that is what would have happened if they would have separated themselves from the Union. They would have come crawling back, begging and hooping and hollering and saying, please help us. And technically, the United States would have no obligation because Texas did what? Ran off on their own. This is why you can't have goofy concepts like that. You can't have goofy people in elective office pushing that narrative. Let me see if somebody can give me. Somebody in the chat room probably gave the name. Let's see. King Way say peace, Lions Den, AK Lions Den, Trey X. Thanks a lot, brother. Let me see. Somebody in there might have said the name. Okay, Ted Hicks said, did you get the right generator? That's right. Requiring maintenance. Let me see. LT Governor Dan Patrick, maybe. Who was the governor? He was a wacky Republican guy, but you see what you get when you gotta have a balance of government intervention with private industry. You gotta have a balance. Gotta have balance. And even though Texas wants to be independent and they want to do their own thing, guess what? Whatever damages happen in Texas, they are going to be asking for federal money to help them out. I guarantee you. They'll be tapping into federal money. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And
it is crazy.
I'm under a belief, Lions Den, that if we as humans on this planet don't get things right, we are going to make ourselves an endangered species. Not somebody pushing a button and shooting a bomb or a missile. We're going to do it to ourselves. As I said before, remember when Obama was trying to push a infrastructure package for this country, and the Republicans hawked at it and said that they would do one themselves. Can anybody in the chat room, anybody listening, name a infrastructure package that has been introduced under this past administration and any other administration, the George Bush administration, since, other than the wall that Donald Trump was building? Where are the other infrastructure packages? And he calls himself the greatest president that ever lived. Where's the other infrastructure packages? Can anybody name it? The funny thing about it is, Lions Den, a lot of the people who follow Donald Trump in the states, in those southern states, they live in states where the infrastructure is all jacked up. Yet their main man, Trump, didn't do anything to improve their infrastructure with an infrastructure package. And you can say, and I know someone's going to say, well, it was because COVID. Wait a minute. He's been in office longer. He was in office long enough to do it, even before COVID became in our imagination and became a reality. I mean, what do you think, Lions Den?
Well, like you said, Info, I mean, Trump had 4 years to take care of the infrastructure. Unfortunately, you notice that Trump is doing other stuff, try to playing politics and he's doing campaign speeches and stuff like that, instead of doing what's right for the American people and fixing what they need to be fixed as president. And building infrastructure is one of them. And so, you know, at the end of the day, you see that he didn't do a thing. He didn't fix the country as he's supposed to be fixed. There's stuff that still needs to be done. He hadn't even done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, that's not a surprise of what Trump is doing.
Well, it's not a surprise what he did not do when he was president. Right now, he's been saying you haven't seen anything yet. Trumpism is going to get more intense. That's what he was saying. We know that Benny Thompson, Congressman Benny Thompson, is going to hold him accountable by taking out a lawsuit, a civil suit. And what that means is what? In a criminal trial, you have to have complete evidence, right? The bar of evidence in the criminal trial that they put him through, and it wasn't even a real trial, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't even have witnesses. The damn Democrats jacked up. The Democrats BS'd around at the last minute trying to introduce a surprise witness because something broke out. But they should have put those cops on the stand and have them testify. Now, because he's suing them as a private citizen, it's going to be civil, which means he's going to go for damages, which means he can actually ask for witnesses like police officers and people who worked up there to give their eyewitness account. Congressman Benny Thompson, who is associated with the NAACP, he was a victim of this situation because he was there. So you're looking at a congressman who's going after Trump, filing a criminal complaint against Trump and his partner in crime, Giuliani, who he doesn't even want to pay money to. They're going to be sued. And I think Benny Thompson has he's using an old law that they use for Ku Klux Klan activity, because he's saying that the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, the Boogaloo Boys, and all these kind of guys, that they are a white nationalist organization, that they were attacked by white nationalists, and he can make a case for that because a lot of them were white nationalists that were on that Capitol causing all that havoc. Lions Den. So what is your, before we end, what is your opinion about Benny Thompson?
Well, like you said, he's going to have a good case against them. I think that it's going to be, and this ain't the only thing. I mean, Trump's disastrous situation isn't over for him, because there's going to be more lawsuits against him. Because again, and they didn't do any. The only reason why they didn't do anything, you know, while he's president, because he was president. Since now he's no longer president, now you got a lot of people now ready to file a lawsuit against him. And don't be surprised, even in the country of Iran, they even suing Donald Trump, the country of Iran, for what you know the Trump administration did when they bombed their general. So they didn't forget about that. In fact, they really want to see criminal charges against Donald Trump because of the assassination of their general. So all of this is coming out, and so the thing of it is that all of this is coming out, and so just because he's out, he's not impeached or whatever, he's been acquitted, doesn't necessarily mean that Donald Trump's troubles are over with, because this is just the beginning for him.
Well, he's got, let me count the counts. His son is in trouble for a charity that he was running. I read that just this past week. Come to find out, his son was running a charity with his golf tournament, and Donald Trump back in 2017 was taking charity money that was meant for kids that were suffering from cancer. And there's evidence to show that Donald Trump was filtering charity money into his own personal businesses. And I don't know what the rules, what the rules are when you have a charity and you're supposed to be using that charity, like golf tournaments and stuff like that, to use the money and proceeds towards sick children that are sick from cancer, and then you some kind of way filter it into your personal businesses. This is the kind of man that we had in office for 4 years. Then there's the tax invasion. They're talking about they might get him on a RICO case, tax invasion, things of that nature. Then they're talking about Donald Trump I think there's a lawyer in New York called Mr. Vance is his name. He's looking at digging into Donald Trump's taxes and where he's getting his money. The man is as they say, let me do my best Nixon impersonation. Nixon said, "I am not a crook, but Donald Trump is a crook. I am not a crook, but Donald Trump is a crook." Okay. Even Stevie Wonder, being a blind, incredible singer and entertainer, even Stevie Wonder can see that when Donald Trump comes a walking his way, that Donald Trump is a crook. He's the kind of man that would steal the money and the leftover change from a baby's piggy bank if he could, because that's exactly what he did to kids who were suffering from cancer when he was filtering money out of the charity into his own personal businesses, and they're gonna get him. I think the impeachment was a joke because it wasn't a real trial. They didn't have witnesses. He got exonerated by the Republicans that are rocking with him, and because they think that they want his base that supports him so that they can stay in office. And I think what's going to happen is Donald Trump is going to find himself in some serious charges that's going to stick on his butt, and it's going to cause him to be not able to run for president again. And anybody that would vote for this man after all the dust has come out and settled, you got to be out of your freaking mind. I mean, I laugh at you. If you do. So we got Ted said, he said New York AG Latrice, Atlanta, Georgia, US. Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you, Ted. Brother Ted Hicks said he's also got a suit coming Lions Den in Georgia. Yeah. The attorney general is suing him because they think that he was interfering heavily in the election there. And they say that will afford him criminal charges, meaning he will go to jail. And I would like to see that happen. I would be so happy. I would laugh to my belly. I would laugh to my belly. Yes. I want to see it happen, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see it happen. I want to see the man pay the price. And he's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, again, info. Yeah, and again, info, like I said before, just because he's been acquitted from the impeachment doesn't necessarily mean his troubles is over with. Like I said, the state of New York wanted him. The state of New York wanted him because they still want to see his taxes. They still gonna come after him for that. And like Ted Hicks says, that they're still in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia. They wanted him there because, like I said, they're interfering with the elections. And again, the country of Iran, they want his head because they want an arrest warrant against Donald Trump for the assassination of their general. So info. Again, Donald Trump's troubles is just the beginning.
Oh, well, I got a talent. Let me put these on the screen. I got folks sending me all kind of nice messages. And there's Randy Hort. What's going on, Randy? Thank you for coming over, sir. Thank you for coming over and joining. Let me put some of these messages on the board. And I think I can't put that up. But thank you for the great talent award. I appreciate that. Randy's come over from, I think he's from what is this? He's from, where is he at? Let me put this on the screen here so you can see that line.
Dhahran.
Yeah, he's in Dhahran. All right. I appreciate you coming over. And I've seen you on Haps for a while too. And then we got, let me see. Ted Hicks says the states, not the federal charges. No parade can save can save him. So he's talking about this is state, not federal charges. So they're going to get him on state charges, and then you got, and then he's got state and maybe federal charges coming his way. I mean, look, this is what I imagine, and I wish I had that picture of him. There's a picture of him that was floating around on social media where he had a orange jumpsuit on and he was bald headed because he was in jail. I think Donald Trump might be doing the perk walk. I would not be surprised if we find for the first time someone that was president in the slammer. And I'm wondering, can anybody tell us tonight all 201 of you that are listening tonight. And we got 96 likes. This is fantastic. We got 96 likes and we got 204 people watching us. Get those likes up. That's what we say on YouTube. Get those likes up. And thank you out there for listening. If Donald Trump, Lions Den, what do you think could keep Donald Trump from going to, he's an ex-president, right? He doesn't have the powers of the White House anymore. So what could keep him from not going to jail when he's got all these multiple charges? Now, he's been Teflon Don like a mafia. That's basically what we had in the White House. We had a de facto mafia boss in the White House. He's been Teflon Don for 4 years. I think his luck is about to run out because now he's a private citizen. And I think it's going to be a got you moment for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump his days is numbered. I mean, let's give it twisted. You got 2 states, New York and Georgia, are already trying to get arrest warrants.
Right.
And it's like Ted Hicks says, this is not a federal thing, it's a state thing. And both Georgia and New York, they don't play that when it comes to break laws there. And I'm telling you, unless there's a miracle that can keep the charges away from Donald Trump, I'm telling you, he's not going to be free long. That's for sure.
I saw that Joe Biden had a town hall meeting tonight. And even Joe Biden had a moment in that town hall meeting where he said he got tired of talking about Trump. And okay, and this is one of the I like it. And I know there's people out there who don't like this if they are a small business owner because they feel like it's going to put them out of business. But I actually personally like the idea of the $15 minimum wage because he said, according to the numbers and the research that he's looked at, they say that it will increase the economy because quite obviously when people are making more money, they're going to do what, Lions Den? They're going to spend, right? What else? They're going to their quality of life goes up, right? Now, $15 an hour is not going to put nobody in the rich house, right? But I think we live in a society where the price of living is going up. I'm in California. I'm an expert. I can say this. I'm in California, one of the most expensive places to live in America, if not the world. The rent is going up. Mortgages are going up. Bread is going up. Bread and cereal are going up. Eggs are going up. And people's pay are staying stagnated. People's pay is staying stagnated. If you're a working class person, your pay is stagnated. If you're Ben Bezos, someone who owns Amazon, well, you're making money hand over fist. So if wages are stagnated and price of living is going up, something's got to give in that bubble, Lions Den, right?
Right.
Something's got to give. I mean, what do you think? What do you want people to do? You want everybody to be homeless in the streets? What do you want from us, America? What do you want? What do y'all want out there? Now, I do, on the other hand, understand the small business owner who feels like if I have to pay that wage, it's going to either drive me out of business or what do they usually do, Lions Den? They're going to pass the expense over to who?
Over to the mega rich.
Well, no, they're gonna pat. No. What I guess where I'm getting at, my dear brother, is that they usually pass the cost over to the customer, right? So when you go in, so let's say, for example, a candy bar in a store is $1. Well, let's say, for example, the candy bar is $1. They raise the minimum wage to $15, and now that dollar candy bar in the store becomes what, $1.50, $1.60, right? They always pass the cost over to the customer when they raise wages and all this other anything of that nature. So I'm not going to get too deep into this. I'm just saying that, I actually agree with the $15 minimum wage, but at the same time, I'm not employing people personally. So I don't know what the pain of having to being able to handle that kind of payroll if you're a small business and you're struggling. And people are saying that maybe he should hold off on this because you got a lot of small businesses that have not come back. They're struggling because of this COVID, right? People are out of work. People are in line to get food. A lot of crazy things that are happening at Lions Den. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. It's 10:23 in the West Coast where I'm at. I think I'm going to end it. We didn't want to make it a 3 and 4 hour. We'll leave the long streams for the weekends, and be on the lookout this weekend. We'll be streaming into the weekend, late night streams and things of that nature, having good talk. What I want to say right now, Lions Den, before you go, is I want to give my prayers. Let's give our prayers to the people who are out there struggling, who don't have jobs, who are out of work, and people that are really getting hit hard by this weather, this icy cold weather that is really affecting people in the Midwest of this country, in the South and other parts of the country. Let's just have them in our prayers. Hope that they can get through this. Hope that this so-called private power company gets their act together. Even though you had Fox News lying, saying that this was the fault of green energy. No, it wasn't. This was the fault of your private power companies in Texas. Any last words, Lions Den?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. There's a little bit of news in New York. I would want to.
Oh yeah, report that. Yeah. Oh yeah, brother, you got to report whatever you know. Report it.
Remember the lady that was accused, the black man? He was doing bird singing over there, and one of the Karens, New York Karens over there. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that they let her go. She was acquitted of the charges of the incident. I just remember the lady's name. For the people in the chat room, give me the lady's name. Lisa Cabrera just even did a report on her, and and so she basically was basically they let her go. Okay. She would want to threaten to throw a dog at him.
Now
in Central Park.
Now you gotta let people know who Lisa Cabrera is, because not everybody knows who Lisa Cabrera is.
Okay. Lisa Cabrera is she's one of the she's a YouTuber, and she's also a podcaster.
Okay.
So yeah, she always do videos on news and news and events all the time on her channel.
Right. And she gives the top-notch news, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say this, and I want to shout out somebody that's on Haps. We got I think it goes by the name. He's a journalist, and he does every morning. He gives a broadcast every morning. I think his name is Alex. Let me give a shout out to Alex out there, who does the morning news for folks in the morning. And I guess I'm the late night show. And so we got morning, we got people on here doing morning shows, midday shows, nighttime shows, nightcap shows, late night shows. Brother Ted Hicks does a great show where he calls it Parents. He has brothers on there, and they talk about a variety of things, a variety of issues, cutting edge issues, what's happening in today's society, whether it be politics, culture, everything. So make sure you continue to give Brother Ted Hicks all the support you can. You can also find me on YouTube at Information Man Show. And I also have a podcast, Information Man Speaks Podcast, which is on traditional platforms such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, just everything you can think of. SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor. I'm on everything. Lions Den, rattle off your social media or the platforms that you're on.
Yes, of course. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Lions Den. You can follow me on my Instagram at instagram.com/the_real_lions_den2. You can also follow me on my Facebook at facebook.com/The Real Lions Den. And you can also follow me on Snapchat at LionsDen39. Also, I also got a podcast myself called Roar on Your Podcast, which on Anchors, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast devices. I'm on Station Head. You can catch me on my show on Station Head every Saturday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
And I'm also on stereo, on stereo too.
Okay.
So I'm everywhere.
Okay. And Lions Den, I'm gonna get on. I'm on two things. I'm gonna get on Station Head because they do have it on Droid, and then I know they got this whole thing called Clubhouse, but they don't have Clubhouse on Droid. But I think they're gonna be getting it on Droid. But I also joined some. I'm on stereo too. They say that stereo is gonna become. They say that stereo is gonna blow. I think we're following each other on stereo too, brother. Stereo is gonna blow up.
We are. Yeah.
I found out over this past weekend that they're investing a lot. I don't know who the main investor is, but a lot of money is being poured into that app called Stereo, because it's sort of like it's like Stereo's like a Clubhouse type thing, right? So a lot of money is being poured into that. And then I was listening to Irene Smith, who I love. Irene Smith from Philadelphia. She's a VIP, HAPS VIP on here. She talks about, how to really maximize your social media, gives you all the different tips. And she's the one that told me, because, I interviewed her on my YouTube channel and I love her to death. I wish I could give her a big fat kiss on those cheeks of hers. I love Irene Smith, and I hope she sees this. And she's out of Philadelphia, and I'm going to interview her daughter because her daughter is into real estate and stuff like that. But she's the one that turned me on to HAPS, told me about this platform as well. And I really appreciate her doing that. What I was gonna say is there's another thing that's happening that she talked about on HAPS. Do you know Lions Den? And I joined it today. Go to Twitter Spaces, put in your Twitter Spaces, and you can join. They're doing a experimental pilot on Twitter to create a Twitter space like Clubhouse. And
Wow.
they said that Twitter is going to create a space where you can actually create a space. She said the only issue with it is that you can't put a title. You know how we titled the show tonight? You can't title it. You can have people come in and speak. You can speak. You can be a listener or you can be a guest. And it's just sort of like Clubhouse. They're going to do it on, I believe, Twitter, or it's on Twitter. But I think they're only doing it with people that are iPhone customers first. I believe so. I wrote a message to the guy who's in charge of this saying that I want to join. She left a link that said, if you want to join the space, you click into Twitter Space and then you follow Twitter Space and then you're actually in there. But I don't know if it's actually active. I don't know if it's activated for Android phone, because I have an Android phone. So I'll have to see. I have to talk. Maybe I need to email Irene. Yeah. So it looks like right now that's becoming very popular, where you're going to have these. I bet you Instagram's going to do the same thing. They're going to have their own little personal thing, because everybody copycats off of everybody anyway. Right. So
right.
That's the newest thing that's happening on Twitter that they're experimenting with. Coming up with a thing called, they're going to call it Space, where you can have these private gatherings and you can talk to people privately on Twitter into your own space. So we'll see how that all pans out. There's a lot of technology that's happening. It's hard to keep up with everything, but yeah, brother, I'm on Stereo. So me and you need to do something on Stereo. I got Station Head on my phone. I just haven't created a profile yet. And so I'm getting on all the social media because I think it's very important to have especially when you're a podcaster, a YouTuber like myself and yourself, you got to make your presence strong on all of these platforms. And that's the reason why HAPS, I wish I could do a commercial for them. That's the reason why HAPS is excellent, because Haps allows you to leverage your social media, leverage your podcast, leverage your YouTube channel, leverage anything that you're doing with live streaming. It's helping you to leverage it because it's all encompassing. You're getting everywhere. Another thing that I did, and I connected. This is what I'm doing, Lions Den. I connected with brother Jay King, and Jay King is one of the creators and singers of Club Nouveau. Remember the group Club Nouveau?
No, I haven't heard from Club Nouveau. And Info, you breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm breaking up. Oh man. Well, I hope I'm all right. No. Remember Club Nouveau from back in the day?
Oh yeah, I remember the group Club Nouveau. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they still perform. They still perform songs. Jay King was one of the creators of the group. He's a producer. He's still in the music business. Matter of fact, he works with my man Word Up. He does stuff with him. The Word Up man. Everybody say so he had a Periscope channel, and that's how I connected with him. Right. Last night, he did a dry run on. He signed up for Haps. I talked to him on the phone. We know each other now, and so I was talking to him and telling him, hey man, you need to definitely use Haps because he has a radio station in Sacramento, California called KDEE where he plays all kind of great music, right? And he has a show in the morning called Kings in the Morning that's on Periscope. But he's saying he wants to bring that show over to Haps because Periscope is about to go out of business, right? That's why a lot of people are leaving Periscope and coming over to Haps. So he wants to do his show. Right. He said he was going to go on YouTube, but I said, well, you know what? If you use Haps, you can maximize all the people on your social media and get your show out to everybody in one quick swoop. So last night I was on the phone. I was on the phone with the brother literally. And he created his profile, Jay King. Make sure you subscribe to him. And then he got Peter. He got the one of the team leaders of this Haps, Peter, got his email because there were some things that he was concerned about, picture quality and so on and so forth. And I'm hoping that everything works itself out so that he can be a part of Haps because I think that he will bring another quality streamer and someone who's experienced in the music business, of a professional. This man has performed and written songs with some of the best in the music business. So he knows the business. He's still going strong. Club Nouveau kind of performs locally. They perform, they go international. And Jay King's going to be a great addition to this platform if it all works out, and his show is going to be a great addition. And I am going to be interviewing him on my YouTube channel proper. And because he's got an album coming. He's got an album that he's working on called Soul Bossa Nova. It's fantastic. He's played a few of it on his Periscope channel. It's fantastic. And he's producing it. It's fantastic music. So I just want to let you know, brother, so that you can be a part of all of that when it all comes together. So we're going to get on out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Lions Den, we're going to do it again. You're off tomorrow, right, brother?
No, brother. I'm be working tomorrow, but I'll be at home all day though.
All right,
I'll be at home all day, but I'll be working nights.
Okay, I'll probably contact you because I want to know, brother, beyond us being on live tonight, whether you were able to make contact with your family, given all these circumstances. And who's coming to chat room? Okay. We've got Walt. Walt is coming to chat room. Thank you for coming in. He says, morning from Ireland. Wow. That's another thing I like about this platform, man. You have people coming over from all parts of the world. People can hear us from all over the world, Lions Den. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I had to turn the podcast. I was podcasting in the Spreaker tonight. I turned it off because of the little boo-boo with the video clip. And I was like, oh, they don't sound right on the podcast. And the podcast gets us all around the world as well. But yeah, it's great that people can hear us and see us in another country. Hell, I'm in California and you're in New Mexico, and Walt is listening and watching us all the way in Ireland. That's Ireland. That's crazy. That's bananas, man.
Wow.
Tell the truth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but see, that's the power of technology. That's where we are today. And just check this out. I can only imagine where the technology is going to be when my daughter is an adult. I mean, I can only imagine when I'm an old man, if I'm still here, where this technology is going to be. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know, I when I was a kid, I always thought that someday we would have one of those technologies like they have in Star Trek, where we could beam down to any place in the world. Imagine if you could go to Ireland. Now, he's in Ireland, right? So imagine if I could beam myself.
Yeah.
Imagine if I'm in America, right? I'm in California, and I say to myself, you know what? I'm gonna go check out Ireland for the day. So I get inside a little machine. It zaps me to Ireland. I can hang out in Ireland for the day, get back in the machine, get it back into a machine in Ireland, and then zap myself back to America. Wouldn't that be incredible? You know what I'm saying?
It would be amazing.
Yeah. If you want to go visit your family, you get in a little machine, zap yourself back to your family in DC, then zap yourself back to Tennessee. I mean, just like Star Trek, man. Just like Star Trek.
It's like you're just like in a movie. You remember the movie Spaceballs?
Yeah. Yeah.
When Mel Brooks came in here with that little beam.
Right. Right. Look, I'm telling you, man.
Similar like that.
If we had that type of technology, I would beam myself to very different countries and then come on back home with my bags in my hand. I'm serious. I'm serious, man. All right, well, let's get on out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this late night. Everybody in the world, we had 241 people watching us, 98 likes. Get those likes up, folks. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the rewards that people gave us tonight. I appreciate Ted Hicks. Brother Mike was in the house. Appreciate everybody that came over. King Wage. We know King Wage from YouTube. He came over and watched us tonight. Everybody out there, thank you. Yeah. If you want to share this video, go ahead and share the video. Check out our platforms that we're on and other social medias. And Lions Den, have a good night. Have a good night and a good day tomorrow. Make sure you contact your family. And I hope you make contact with your family. It's crazy back east. The wintertime out there is real crazy.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Peace out.
All right, everybody. So that's my man, Lions Den. And yeah, it's crazy. I really feel bad that people are going through a lot across the country with this weather. It is clear in my estimate and my analysis that this is obviously a result of something going on with our climate, with our biosphere, our environment. Like I said, I'm in California. Our winters are getting warmer while other people are in places where it gets cold and their winters are getting colder. Something is not right. If we do not do something about this, we may not have a planet for our children. Our children's children may not have a planet. It is obvious that something is not right. And so put people in your prayers that are struggling in this situation across the country with weather, and people who are still struggling because they have no job. They're still impacted by this virus. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Information Man Speaks podcast. Have a great night. I hope you are well wherever you are in the world. So you know what? It's time to get on out of here. Peace to you. Take care, everybody. Peace. Peace.
The Information Man podcast can be heard on 9 major platforms. On the second YouTube channel as well, Information Man Speaks podcast. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Castbox, SoundCloud, and finally, Spreaker. You are listening to Information Man podcast.
I can't trust nobody. No, not even.
forgetting myself. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Stretch out my hand to you and take down your blindfold. Imagine that I reach out to you, but I'm young and still prideful. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Where the fuck does your mind go? Where the fuck did the time
You are
go?
listening to Information Man Podcast.
Get on my face. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Stretch out my hand to you and take down your blindfold. Imagine that I reach out to you, but I'm young and still prideful. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Where the fuck does your mind go? Where the fuck did the time go? Small talk, kept the lights so. Cut to the chase, get on my face. Look in the mirror.
You are listening to Information Man Podcast.
Wash off the mess of me from yesterday. Hit the sativa, caffeine in a play. As a superheroes never
The Information Man Podcast can be heard on 9 major platforms. On the second YouTube channel as well, Information Man Speaks Podcast. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Castbox, SoundCloud, and finally Spreaker.
Are you checking on me? Are you check secured? Are you betting on me? Can I really trust your word? 'Cause I can't. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Stretch out my hand to you and take down your blindfold. Imagine that I reach out to you, but I'm young and still prideful. Needed you to be mindful of me. Needed you to be mindful. Where the fuck does your mind go? Where the fuck did the time go?
You are listening to Information Man Podcast.